and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a fun little video. I've been thinking of making it for a while, and especially with BT6 just coming out over here, I wanted to show off my current collection of cards before that set. So at the moment I have a complete collection of every playable card from BT1 to 5 promos, starter decks. So I thought I'd take you through my collection, how I store it, how I sort my binders out, and I think it'd be quite fun for you to see, and a few people have requested as well. So we'll start off, you can't see them here, they're all hidden. We'll start off with my BT1 Binder. As you see, I got the label printer out. Don't worry, I didn't keep this up, it only happens for a couple of the binders, and then I got distracted and never did it again. So we've got the BT1 Binder. I arranged it in a way that was aesthetically pleasing to myself. I like having all the shinies at the front, I think it looks nice, and then I just sort it out by colour. So obviously we've got all the hollows, all the SRs, of BT1. I don't keep alts anymore. There was a point where I was trying to collect a playset of every alt, but luckily I kicked that addiction and I won't be going back there. I'm perfectly fine and happy with keeping one of everything playable, so I can keep up to date with the meta and I can always try out new decks. So as you see, I arrange it in a way, so this is all in numerical order now. So I have the SRs all at the front in numerical order, and then we go into the actual order. So I've got all the BT1 cards, and then I keep all the colour together, so we have tamers and options as well. So if I ever need to find a tamer or an option for that set, I know it's all going to be in one place. We've got all blue cards. Some may be a bit wonky, and sometimes you may see that there's extra cards. If it's a card that I'm going to potentially use to build multiple decks, I do have a big storage box of multiple play sets of every card. But sometimes if I play it a lot, especially with the purple cards, you'll see I have multiple cards behind there just in case I want to build a couple of decks and don't want to dig out cards from the box. Yeah, all nice, organised. They've all got a single side loading sleeve on them, so that's how I prefer to sleeve my cards. If I can even get to shut the camera, just have a side loading sleeve, and then when I put them in to play sleeves, they're all double sleeve, means the cards are going to last longer, and it's just, I don't know, I've done it since the game came out. I think it looks nice for the cards, they're nice and protected, and it makes it feel a little bit more rigid as well, and that way these cards are going to last, so nothing's just naked in the binder, it's all got extra sleeves. So this is what I mean by, if you look at /Angemon, see, now I see my colour, just because I was building multiple decks with him, I've got a couple of extra copies there. I will sort these out eventually and they'll just be in the storage box, but at the moment they're just in the binder. Nice little show and tell. I'd love to hear how many of you have got like a complete live collection as well, so everything playable at the moment. And there's cards like this, I've got multiples of minis as well. There's some stuff I just never bothered selling. I know they picked up a little bit of value, and the same with the Vmon, but I never know when I'm going to build a couple of decks that are going to need a couple of play sets. And that is it for green. At one point in time I did have one of each of the alts in now, but again, as I said, I kicked that addiction, thankfully. Then BT2, so again, kept up with the labeling, just easier to find it. The front page of this just has my Digimon tokens. I have got 4 that are on the way, and these are just the only 4 that I've got at the moment, but this would be where I put all my Digimon tokens. Eventually I will move all the cards forward, and these will just go into like my promo folder or something, but it's a lot of work and I can't bother to do that. So then we've got all of the BT2 SRs. Again, I just think it looks so nice having all the SRs together, and that's what's conflicting about BT6. I'm not sure where all the rares are hollow now, how it's going to look. I still want to do the SRs at the front and everything in sets, but then you're going to see like normal hollow, so I'm just going to have a play around, see how it looks, and then go from there. It's quite nice because you usually have 12 not 12 SRs. No, yeah, so 369. Combination of 12 SRs and secrets in a set, so it's nice. It takes up the first 4 pages, fits nicely. And we've got all the other cards, a lot of blasts from the past, cards that you don't see any play at all, but you never know when something's going to come back in circulation. There are obviously going to be cards in here that will never see play. They're kind of the dead cards that are just designed for space fillers. And some of these cards still just never been played. There's colors I don't really touch much, like yellow. I'm looking to get into it BT6 with a Mastimon Dynasmon build, but I'm not really a big yellow player, and black as well. I've only recently started playing around with black, and this is my color. As I said, you'll see multiple of everything in purple, just because I build loads of different purple decks, have played around with it, see what works for me. Same with like Tapiamon, I've got loads of there in there, loads of Gabumon, loads of Balmon blockers, Devimon, retaliations, just because I love playing around with purple. It's such a fun colour, and it's definitely what I'd consider my main colour as well. And even like, just in case, you never know when you're going to need more trump swords. I think even, no, maybe not Heat Vipers, maybe I didn't chuck a bunch of those in there. For some reason I've got multiple Night Raids in there as well. But I mean, I play with purple so much, I play around with it so much, but extras of everything chucked in now. That is it for BT2. Then we move on to BT3, as you see, still keeping it up. I wanted to keep everything in the same binder, so it's quite difficult because these binders go out of print a lot, and I keep thinking I bought enough. So I bulk bought, I think, 4 of these black ones after 1.0. I think it was after 1.0. I bulk bought 4 of these, and I was like, I'm going to be sweet for ages. And obviously, no, sorry, I bulk bought 3 of these. Yeah, I bulk bought 3 of these and already had 2. So I was on 5, and I was like, that's going to be fine for ages. And then when it comes down to buying some more for BT6, couldn't get hold of them. So at the moment, I don't even have a binder for BT6. It's just going to have to go in like a cheap like 12-page binder for now until I get another one of these, because these are like the Xeno skin ones, so they're padded, they're really nice. They've got soft velvet on the inside. They just look amazing and they feel really nice, and the actual like sleeve holders are really good. Like, they very rarely ever fall out. Now we're going on to BT3, one of my favorite cards. Absolutely love Imperial Digimon. It's my second favorite Digimon, that and Mastimon. They're probably both my favorite. It's a toss up between the both of them. And I do love his alt art, but again, I have no control. If I playset the alt of this, I'd feel like I needed to playset Masti, and then before I know, I'm playsetting everything. So I have to strict no alt policy. The only alt I will be collecting is the Devimon alt from BT6, the anniversary one, just because it's done by Koki, and that's my favorite artist. And I collect one of each of the Koki alt arts. So one of each of the Koki arts, be it alt art or normal. And at one point in my collection, I had one of these binders with 2 full pages of Lilithmon, 2 full pages of Omnimon, just because I was like, these cards, you know, they're going to be good, they're going to keep going up in value. And so I bought a lot of them when they were cheap. When Lilithmon was £8-9, I bought 18 of them just to keep hold of extra, not even including my playset, just because I was like, these are going to go up in price at one point. And when they went up to like £20-25, that's when I sold them, so I made a bit of money on that. I did it with the Omnimon, but that went the opposite. I saw the price was starting to go down, so I think I bought them all for about 35-40, and then they went up to 50-55, and then when they started crashing down again, I got rid of those. But that's the problem with investing in these cards. Unless you're investing in alts and you're looking long term, there's not much you're really gonna make of investing in it. Maybe sitting on some of the BT1 alt Omnis. I did that for a while. I bought them for pretty cheap and sold them, almost doubled my price on them. Big boy Vmon in my like bulk box back there. I think I've got another 3 or 4 play sets of it. Again, just sitting on it just in case, you never know. I think he's going to start depreciating in value now, just because the alt art one's available, so everyone's going to want to get hold of the alt art versions. So I think he'll start dropping in price, so I may look to sell those at some point as well. We go on to the untouched yellow. This is the only other alt I'm tempted to keep. So I've got all 2 in my boxes. If you watched my box, you would have seen that. And it just looks so nice. But again, if I collect this, I'm going to collect other things. So I want to keep hold of this. I want to maybe just max rarity on one deck, which at the moment I'm thinking Masty Dynus, but I'm just toying around with it. Because I don't want to fall into the trap of doing that and then maybe want to do that for Bond of Friendship, which is the other deck I'm looking to main. But yeah, it's I just love how aesthetically pleasing it looks, and like this is how I sort it out. People are going to think this is weird because obviously it's not in numerical order. It is in numerical order, but it's like broken down by colors. It's just easier for when I'm building decks. At one point I even considered taking all of one color, putting that in a binder, so having BT1 to BT6 of green, because they'd all fit in one binder. But I think it looks nice like this. I don't want to mix up the sets too much, and then what would happen with the XO1 and BT7, I'd then be in a situation where I have to buy 6 more binders and start building them up again just for those colors. So I think just keeping a binder per set works perfectly fine for me. Got Big Boy Clockmon. If you watch Digimon Ghost Game, they turned this cute looking guy into something horrific and scary. It's an amazing series. If you haven't watched it yet, the first episode, didn't expect it to be anywhere near as good as it was, and it's definitely kind of, I always wanted a I bought a the Vital bracelet when it first came out, but mine got damaged, and obviously you couldn't reuse the dims, so I never ended up replacing it. I got a bit turned off by the idea and just kind of never bought another one. But with the Digivice V, you can now reuse dim cards, so it's nice. I've ordered one of those. When that turns up, I'm going to start using my Digivice V again, so using my Vital bracelet, because it was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. But again, I know I'm going to go hard and want to collect all the dims, so maybe there'll be an unboxing video at some point in the future. I know it's not Digimon card related, but you know, I think it's quite fun. Have a look at it, see what dim cards to pick up. So that was BT3. Now we're on to this is where it gets a bit silly, because not only did I not label this, I put this binder together upside down. I do not have the patience to pull all 400 and probably about 460 cards out just to turn the binder around. Maybe one day when I'm horrifically bored I will do that, but at the moment BT4 lives in an upside down binder with no label. But then got all the nice SRs. Beautiful boy himself, Nidhogg. Been having a lot of fun with him lately, and Lilamon MVP of any green deck. She's so good. And then just done a deck profile on Dandevi. I'm not sure how I'm uploading this. You may see this before or after this video, but as it stands right now I haven't even edited it. Then we got the Ancients, big money card this is going to be. I did sit on a couple of play sets of the alts of this, just because when they were cheap I picked up a playset of each of the alts for like £80. A playset of these alts for £80 at one point, and I sat on them, and I think they're about 35-40 now. So I'll probably look at selling those as well. I think little cards like that are worth investing. If you follow like the meta trends in JP, there's some cards that are worth picking up, sitting on, which is why I knew Lilithmon was worth picking up and sitting on. There's others not. For BT6, I've not really looked into it too much. I think the Bond of Friendship is something that stays around for quite a while, so it might be worth sitting on a couple of extra play sets of Bond of Friendship, because once it's out of circulation you sell them for a bit more. But with us not having any printing issues at the moment, potentially you could end up sitting on cards and then just continuing to depreciate. So don't do what I do. Just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you, but I've had quite a lot of success with it. Yeah, I do think it looks nice having all the hollows, and then these are just all commons and rares. But again, I think it's going to look a bit weird in the BT6 binder, so I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do that one. But not a space in sight. There was 2 spaces in my binder because I sold 2 of my cards because I knew I was getting 2 more of them, and I wanted to make sure I had that before I did this video. So luckily they turned up the other day, so I'm not going to have any spaces. But I did just spend about 2 hours breaking down all my BT5 decks, putting them into the binder ready to go for BT6, and obviously to make this video to show you my collection. So that is it for BT4 in its upside down binder that I will probably never sort out. And then BT5, we've kind of got it right. The binder is the right way up. Still no label. I know I have a label printer. It will literally take me 2 seconds to print off a label and put it on it, but I've just not bothered. I've just memorized exactly where this one is. I know that my BT4 is upside down and this is the right way up. So that's how I distinguish between those two. Got a playset of Lord Nightmon that have never been touched, and Hexablow that's never been touched, and Shoutmon that's never been touched. I never got around to playing either of these decks in the newer format. Everything else got played. You know, I played a lot of Rafflesimon. I ended the meta. I started playing a lot of Metal Guru. This little guy here, I spent about a month trying to build a deck that worked for me with him, because in the JP meta they play a lot slower, and this is a very slow build up deck. But over here was super aggressive, so it just didn't do well, and I just couldn't figure out how to make it work for me. So I ended up relying on Tactimon a lot, which did a lot of work, but I think I just built a deck that works really well for me and utilizes this card quite well, and that's the deck profile I've just put up. Then you got your Armageddons, your Omnimons. For some reason, again, just have an extra Omnimon. I'm not sure why. As I was sorting out the binders, there just happens to be an extra one there. Then we've got Swarts, X antibodies, defeats, and then again just all your commons and rares. And I just think, for me at least, it's a lot easier to find, because I'll know, oh okay, this is BT6 and it's an SR, so it's going to be at the front, or BT6 red number 30. So I'll be like, oh okay, well I know where that is because they're all in order. So it just makes my job a little bit easier when I'm building decks. I'd love to know how you lot store your cards. I know this is quite excessive, not only just keeping a playset of everything, but also storing it all in this order. I never actually was going to keep, believe it or not, I was never actually going to play the game, let alone keep a playset of everything. My intention when it first came out was, I love the nostalgia, and I was going to just get one of everything, one of every alt, one of every common, uncommon, rare, SR, and just keep it in a playset, like a live complete collection of one of each. And I did that for the 1.0, and I met a guy while selling some cards, and he'd like convinced me to play the game, so I started playing with one of my with my starter decks, and that I really got into the game. I fell in love with it, and I was like, great, now I'm gonna have to start really diving into it. But luckily I got into 1.0 really early, so I was able to buy a case and a half, and where the cards were silly price because boxes were really hard to get hold of, I managed to keep a playset of everything for myself, keep one of each alt and sell everything else and still make profit. And I used that profit to then buy 2 cases of 1.5 and then 3 cases of BT4, which crashed, and then I barely made my money back. So since then I've been a lot smarter. I only ever buy a case, at most a case and a half, because that way I can guarantee that I can keep a playset of everything and at least make back the money I've spent, because I don't keep alts anymore, so that's a big chunk of it. So if I buy 16 boxes, 18 boxes, all of those, that's 18 alts at least that are going to get sold. That's all the box toppers that are going to get sold. That's all the dash packs, well, not the dash pack, these because they're not alts, but that's anything that's an alt and not playable that's going to get sold. So it's a good way for me to finance keeping in this game. And luckily I get my bonus right before Christmas, so that's how I was able to invest so much into the game at first last November. So I've been literally been living off this game just from the profit I made in 1.0, and it's kept me playing the game since. And that is it for BT5. Then we're going to go into the starter deck. They get their own binder as well, but their binder's blue, just because it's a bit easier. Blacks for the sets, blues for the promos, and the starter decks. Just at a glance, I know that one's starter decks. Admittedly, if I put starter decks on it, you would know, but I'm lazy, and it saves a little bit of effort for me. So this isn't in the same way as the other sets. I've not put all the SRs for starter decks at the front, and then the rest, it just didn't make sense because there's only one per starter deck, and they're not, you know, it just looked weird having 6 SRs at the front and then the rest. So I kept these all in actual order. I probably could shimmy them along so each starter deck has like a complete lot of pages, but you know, again, I'm lazy. I can't be bothered to do that. Yeah, again, this yellow starter deck, let's say, has not really seen much play. I used the Angel Woman's in a Mastimon deck just for the recovery, and I think the Unimons, I think that's all I've ever touched in this. I also keep multiple copies of starter decks. So I usually buy 3 copies of the starter deck so I can have a playset of everything, and then of the 2 ofs I'll at least have 2 spare just in case I want to build a couple more decks. I think for the first, it might even be for the first 6, I bought 4 of each starter deck, which is extremely obsessive. You don't need to do that, just to have like 2 play sets of everything, because especially when it comes to purple, as I said, I like mixing and matching, and those Devi blockers are usually going to be used in every purple deck. So if I'm going to run a couple of purple decks, I don't want to keep pulling cards from one to the other. So for me, investing £20 and 2 more starter decks, I'd rather do that than having to pull things out. I know it's rich people problems. I'm not rich in any way, but I just made a lot, like I said, made a lot of profit from 1.0, so I don't mind investing things like that to stop having to pull cards around. It's more just a lazy person's problem. And then yeah, as you'll see again with purple, there's multiple copies of every card because I keep pulling them around, building decks with purple. And I quite like a few of the cards in the starter deck. So like Devi Blocker, there's 2 or 3 behind each of them. And that is it for these starter decks. And then we've got one more binder. So this is my collection binder. See, this one's actually got a sticker. You know, I made the effort with this one. Again, it's blue. This has all of my alts in it. Not alts, sorry, my promos. So you've got all the 0.0 promo packs. These are from the promo packs that came. Well, half of these are from actual 0.0 promo packs. The other from the pack that you got with the magazine. None of these are actually from the catalog binder thing, which have like a different holo on them. I think I've got somewhere. I mean, I've got so much stuff I don't even know everything is. I'm pretty sure I've got a couple of those somewhere. I was tempted to get a couple more just so I could have them all, like the different holos, but again, it's a bit obsessive. I was happy with these. These are fine, and very rarely will you need any more than a playset of these, but I've got a couple more if I need them. And then you've got the original box toppers. Then this was the biggest sweat for me when they announced that these were not going to be one of each in a pack like they were in Japan, and they were just going to be tournament packs. I was like, am I really going to have to play 32 locals to get these? And it was a nightmare. So what I actually did is I bit the bullet, and I bought from someone, I think he was in Portugal, who was selling just a sealed box of tournament packs, tournament pack volume 1. It wasn't cheap. It was about £350. But what that tournament pack comes with is 1 of each, and it also come with, I think it was 4 of each of the winners. Oh no, it was 1 of each of the winner cards. And they alone sold for like £50 each. So that was what justified me buying this, because yeah, these have dropped now, and they're a little bit more accessible, but at the time we had no idea how accessible they're going to be, especially with them already announced a tournament pack 2. So I bit the bullet and paid a bit more for these just to guarantee the set, but I don't regret it all. I would have rather have done that than be sitting here missing out on it and not having the complete set. And if I bought these all individually, it would still cost me more than the initial $300-400 it cost me, but then after I sold the winner cards, it only really cost me about $150. And then we've got some of the most useless promos in the world. They look pretty, but they don't see much play. Holy, the co-host of my podcast, he's trying to put this boy to play. in his Bond of Bravery deck, just because it's a nice draw 3. All you have to do is send an Agumon on your field to the bottom of its deck. You get to draw 3, so it's a nice way, a nice little bit of searches. So play a 2-cost Agu, play this, you're basically playing 2 to draw 3. Then we've got the these were dash pack promos for BT4. Yeah, they were dash pack promos for BT4. These again, these came with, oh, and the starter decks. So these were an anomaly because they were really expensive when they first came out, and then they dropped to pennies. I've still got multiples of all of these, just because they're not really worth anything. Obviously, the Grand Quagga is amazing. I really like the Blackwall Grey, but he's not that strong, and the Melga saw a lot of play as well. But they were very. It was a weird space. I didn't know whether to keep more or sell them all, and I ended up keeping more than I should have because I thought they might go up in price, and now I've got a ton that are worthless. So I did choose. So we always talk about Pulsemon. I got really lucky with these because I didn't have a local near me, so I couldn't even play any events to get these. My only option was to buy them from people. I've now recently discovered over the past three or 4 days I do have a local that's not too far away from me, which is quite nice. But with these, I bought these when they first came out, and I got a play set for £35, and that was a steal. There's no way, even with them being reprinted, there's no way you can even get them at that price now. And when they announced you'd get 2 with a participation reward from the latest Evo Cup, I sold 2 of these when they were like £25 each. Basically paid for the whole set, and that was with the 2 cards I was waiting for these 2 to turn up, so I could do this video. Then I did max rarity all of these, where I bought so many. I think I bought a case, 2.5 cases, maybe 3 cases of BT4. So I never even had to buy any of these. I pulled them all, which was really lucky. So I max raried all of these. Again, I didn't have to. It's a little obsessive. I just think they look nice. I didn't really like the plain looking ones. So they look all nice together. They've all seen a little bit of play as well. That's the nice thing. I'm not hoarding these cards because I want to collect a play set of everything. I'm never going to play it. These cards see play. That's why I like to double sleeve them, like I said, because these do get played a lot. So I want them to be protected, so they are going to last a bit longer, and they're still going to be nice and mint. And then that is it. There's a bit of a gap with the new promos, I think, because this ends on 34. I've got a couple of them here, and these ones start at 41. So obviously we've got a gap of promos. I remember finding out what they were, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So there's going to be a few gaps for a little bit of this, but those are all my promos, and there are still more cards in here, just for my weird little obsessive collection. Then we've got the Koki arts. So this is the Ice Koki. It's my favorite artist for the Digimon TCG. I know that's blasphemous because we've got the original. I'm not going to butcher his name. We've got the original artist for Digimon as well that does arts for the cards. But I love Koki's art, and especially like this Gabu one. So I wanted to get I got rid of collecting alts, and I wanted a way to collect like a nice little collection piece for me that was really personal. It wasn't about collecting for any like financial reason. It was just because I love the art and I love looking at this page, and we've got loads more of Koki's art coming. I'm still waiting for my my online regionals pack to turn up to get the where Garurumon, and then I think it's just starter decks and BT6. There's a bunch more in there. Oh, and the Devimon all art as well. Then I'll be up to date with all my Koki arts. And then I'm not sure why, but I decided to keep one of each of the token, memory gauges. There you go, I got the end. I just kept like one of each of the memory gauges. I thought they looked nice. They're all double sleeved. I've even got the 2 here. I think I've got more of these, so if anyone's interested and they really like them, I don't mind doing a giveaway at some point. Let's have a look. I've got cards everywhere. Some Japanese cards. Yeah, I've got Rise Grain ones. Yes, I've got a couple more, so I don't mind if people are interested. I don't mind maybe in the future. I've got another giveaway planned in a few weeks, so I'm going to be running once a month, so I don't mind even chucking the first 2, chucking those in now, because they literally are doing nothing. They're sitting there. We've got multiple play mats as well. And then, you know, just as a little bit of nostalgia, I decided to pick up the first starter deck for the Digimon TCG. So I didn't want to go in and collect hard on this. It's literally just one of each of the cards from the starter deck, and just as like a nostalgia, be able to flick through, have a look at them. I thought they look quite nice. And that is it. Obviously I've got a few more boxes of cards here around, but it's literally just all bulk. I've got about 26 boxes of bulk. If you're in the UK, from BT4 and 5, if you're in the UK and you want a box of commons and uncommons, just chuck me a message. As long as you pay the postage, I'll send them your way. They're literally doing nothing here. At the moment, they're just sitting on a bookshelf. And then, as everyone's got, I've got a trade binder as well, but I don't think it's that exciting to show off. I mean, I'll show it to you anyway. These are all just the things that are like trades and to sell. Like, there's nothing really exciting in here, and half the cards that should be in here are in a box somewhere as well. It's all just stuff I've never got around to selling that just sat here. Because again, once I've kind of made my money back, I'm not too fussed about chasing making profit from this. It's all about the love for the game, and I'll usually sell things at a lot cheaper as well, just because as long as I make my money back, I'm really not fussed. But this is obviously the BT6 cards that I'm sitting on at the moment. I've not put them into a binder yet, so they're just kind of sitting in here. And where I've got a case coming, I don't mind selling these early, so people that are actually going to play them over the next week can have them, just because I'm not going to start deck building until I have all my cards, apart from like a Dynasty deck. Oh yeah, and then we've got all art tamers where I kicked the habit, and I've still got some more arts to get rid of. But yeah, we've got the tournament pack Quadramon sitting there. I'm really bad at trying to sell things. I put a post up once and then I completely forget about it, and then I never post it again. Yeah, that is my collection of Digimon cards. I'm pretty sure I have all of the sleeves that they've released so far as well. Another little obsessive thing, I don't really use them because I don't like them. I just think they look nice. I usually use them for Digitamas, but then I actually went and had my own sleeves made, just because, you know, I'm a narcissist. You gotta have your own sleeve. So I don't really use those anymore, but that is it for my collection. I'd love to hear about your collection as well. This is obviously just a playable collection, not looking to keep any alt arts or anything. I've got a friend that is playsetting alt arts, and anything that's unrealistic to playset he's just getting one of. He runs an Instagram page. I'll link that in the description just in case you want to see what kind of collection he has, and I may even bring him on here to share his collection as well if you guys want to see that. It's a very expensive collection. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to me ramble for about half an hour. As always, this has been Gruffy, and I hope you're getting good as well.